Hi, and welcome back. In this section, we will be working on comparison operator and logical operator. What do we mean? What do we understand by comparison operator? Now, the comparison operator is used to compare two values, compare variables or operands. So that's just what we mean by comparison operators. We use those operators to compare two values. Now, the logical operator is used to compare two conditions. All right, it's used to compare two conditions. Now, let's move on to our code editor and move on to our Visual Studio Code. I'm going to create a new file for that. So I have comparison operators. Let's use an underscore .php. All right, so we're going to go and let's do this, and let's put down our PHP syntax here. All right, now how do we work with these operators? Now, before we move on, I'm going to bring in a kind of HTML where I have some of those operators explained, so I can explain them effectively for each and every one of us. So I'm going to have that here. Alright, so I'm going to have that here. So I'm going to paste that. I'm going to take off the comment. And let's move on to our browser. I'm going to minimize on this a little. So let's move on to our browser. And we need to change this. So we have demo. So that takes us here. So we have comparison operators. Alright, so this is what we mean by the comparison operator. Okay, so we have the equal. Okay, we have the identical. Now the equal is equals to, okay, is this value equal to this value? That's what we have here. Identical actually means if the value are equal and the data type are the same. Okay, the values are equal and the data types are the same. Now we have here greater, we have less than, we have greater than equal, we have less than equal, we have greater or less than. Now we have not equal, and we have not identical. Okay, let me show you that. So I think I omitted that. All right, so we have not identical here. Now let's move on to our code and do something with that. Now let's come down here. We're going to use an if statement. I believe we have knowledge about that now. So I have 4 is less than 4. Now I'm going to echo it is true. Put a semicolon in there. Now let me minimize this a little so we can see what is going on here. And I think I'm gonna comment on this. Let's comment on this. All right, now what we have here, we have 4 is less than 4. Is that true? Let's reload. All right, it's not true. Now comparing the two values, so is 4 greater than 4? Let's go check it out again. Nope, it's not greater. Now I'm going to have 4 less than equals to 4. Okay, so we see that yes, that is true. 4 is less than equal to 4. All right, that's true. Now let's work on greater than. Okay, also that is true because it's equal to. All right, also let's move on to, is 4 equals to 4? Now this is equals to, let's go check it. All right, yes, 4 is equals to 4. Now let's use not. Okay, let's use not. All right, you see that we have this disappeared because 4 is not equals to 4. Okay, so this is not. Okay, obviously this is 4 and this is 4, so right here condition is not, this is false, so 4 is not equal to 4. So we have that equals to, we use the equals to and it was true, but the not equals to operator is actually a false condition. Now let's work on the last one, identical. Okay, identical. Now yep, this is identical, it is true. All right, but what if we put in a quote here? What if we put in a quote here? All right, you see that it goes away. Now this particular identical is checking out two things: if the values are equal and if the data type are the same. Obviously this is an integer and this is a string. Okay, but if we use the equal to, it's gonna give us true. Yeah, it's gonna return it is true because the equal operator actually checks the value. Okay, it's just checking this. Okay, this is in a string, but the value inside the string is 4, so obviously it is equal to that. All right, that's using the equal operator. So if we use the identical, it will take that away. So that's just all we need to do on that. If we use the not identical, obviously it will give us it is true. All right, now let's move on and let's introduce the logical operator. Let's introduce the logical operator. I'm gonna put in I'm gonna put here the logical operators that we have here. All right, so we have this here. Okay, so we have the logical operators. I'm going to remove the comments I have there. So we'll go back to our code. Okay, so we have this logical operators. Now there are three operators that we have here. We have the AND, we have the ampersand, we have the pipe, and we have the not. So this is AND, this is OR, and this is not. Okay, obviously basically we use this logical operator to compare two conditions. All right, now let's move on to what we have to do. I'm going to comment on this. All right, let's move on to that. Now what if right here we want to use the not? So I'm going to use the operator not, and I have 5 is less than 10. Okay, now what this is actually checking here, if this operator, if this condition here is not true, it goes and check the other condition. That's just it, comparing two conditions. So what we have here, 4 is identical to 4. Obviously it's not true. Okay, then if it checks this and it's not true, then this condition, this operator enable this condition to actually checks this other condition right here. All right, it enables the program to check the other condition. Now if it checks this and it sees that 5 is less than 10, then it executes the statements that we have there. So let's go check that again. Okay, so you see that it is true. Okay, now the OR condition, the OR operator actually at least one condition should be true out of the two. Okay, at least one of the conditions should be true to execute it. At least one condition using the OR operator, at least one condition should be true for the statement to be executed. While using the AND, Oh, sorry about that. Okay, we're using the AND. The AND operator requires the two conditions to be true. Okay, it requires the two conditions to be true. So if we come down here and reload this, you will see that it will disappear because one condition is actually not true while the other condition is true. For this to effectively work, the two conditions has to be true for this statement to be executed using the AND operator. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to take this off and put 4 right here. So I have 4 is identical to 4 and 5 is less than 10. So the two conditions are true. The statement is good to be executed. Now let's check that out. Alright, so we see that it is true. Very, very, very easy to understand. And that is it between the OR and the AND operator. And I believe you have a good understanding about that. Alright, that's it about that. And I'll see you in the next session. Bye for now.